Entertainer, a classic, over 100 years old now, but it really became huge in a second or third ragtime revival that happened in the early 1970s, late 60s, thanks to some albums by Joshua Rifkin, put out by Nonesuch in 1970 or so. And a couple of years later, people who were putting together the cool movie The Sting got Marvin Hamlish to turn Joplin's tune, The Entertainer, into, and really use all kinds of Joplin things in The Sting. So if you haven't seen The Sting, you gotta get on that. Now, this is a song that I grew up listening to ragtime. My grandmother played this stuff when it was new. She was around the turn of the 20th century and was buying these sheets when they came out for a nickel and learning to play them. So I was really lucky to grow up in a household where my grandmother would come over and bang out some Joplin tunes on the piano. And I, of course, went into guitar playing. And a few years later, well, actually, Grandma was still barely alive when Kicking Mule put out some albums of ragtime arrangements played on guitar. Great one. One was just called The Entertainer, had different songs on it by different people. The one though that really grabbed me was one by a Dutch guitar player named Leo Wijnkamp. I'm not quite sure of how to pronounce his name, but he put out an album called Rags to Riches that had a great version of The Entertainer. And I was able to get tablature to it, and I've been messing with it now for over 40 years and tweaking it, modifying his arrangement, doing a lot of different things with it. And I think I've now got it the way I like it, and I'm putting together a lesson for it. Well, this is the lesson. This is the introduction to the lesson. This was I got to show you this because this was like my guide to the whole thing, the Scott Joplin book that had everything in there. The reason I have this page stuck in here is I had to show you that all of these things came with cool covers. So here we had, this is the black and white version, but, the sheet music, I don't know if there's a price on it. It says 50, but I don't think it was 50 cents back then. So anyway, that was my source for putting together, working on this arrangement that 70 or 80% of it is probably 60 or 70% is probably Leo's, and then I've adapted a few things. We're going to take a look at all the parts. I'm going to do this on my other guitar that has fret markings on it, by the way, because I've got the tablature all written out. We've got all the fingerings figured out. Each different section is really cool. You probably have heard the second section as well. Wait a minute. We'll get into that. There's the third section goes. There's another little interlude. And there's a fourth section where it gets kind of pretty gentle. Anyway, we'll take a look at all of that over an extended period of time. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm shooting this first, but now I'm going to get into the rest of the lesson and hope you enjoy it.